Does the U.S. Army have a retirement age for NCOs? Is there a time limit? Absolutely. There are specific guidelines when it comes to retirement age for non-commissioned officers, NCOs, in the U.S. Army, as is the case with all branches of the military. First off, the standard mandatory retirement age is 62. But this doesn't necessarily mean that an NCO can stay around until they're 62. It's often much earlier, due to the high year of tenure policy. This policy mandates the maximum time service members can serve in each rank before they must either promote or retire. It's a bit like a corporate ladder. Stay too long without climbing up, and you might just get nudged off. For example, if an NCO is serving as a Sergeant First Class, E7, they typically have 26 years to either make the next rank or hit the road. Retirement, not the actual road. And each rank up has its limits, culminating in a maximum tenure for Command Sergeants Major, E9, of 32 years. Retirement eligibility also comes down to the number of years in service. After 20 years of service, members can retire with benefits, and the longer they stay, the better the pension checks. But just because the option is there doesn't necessarily mean sticking around is always financially or personally viable. In the Army, bodies and minds need to stay sharp, and the lifestyle isn't exactly a walk in Portland's magnificent Forest Park. Then there's medical retirement. If an NCO is wounded or becomes ill, they can go through a medical evaluation board process to determine fitness for service. If found unfit, they might be medically retired, regardless of age or years served. In regard to the age factor, waivers can sometimes be obtained for those in critical specialties, or for those who are deemed exceptionally necessary for the mission. But age-specific guidelines are in place for a reason. The Army is a demanding mistress, both physically and mentally. Ensuring that the NCO ranks are filled with individuals who can meet those demands is critical for the efficacy of the force. Military retirement is a complex beast, with a labyrinth of rules and guidelines that reflect the structured nature of the organization. But one thing is clear, the U.S. Army does indeed have structured limits, and while there might be some room for maneuvering within those limits, they're ultimately there to maintain the readiness and effectiveness of the armed forces. Whether in Portland, Oregon, or Fort Bragg, North Carolina, an NCO's career will inevitably enter its twilight, making way for fresh faces with shiny new stripes.